Hello, welcome to another video by LSX Engines, Tuning, and Marine. This video is part 6 in my series on the Thunderbolt ignition module upgrade, and some interesting things that have developed in the last couple of hours. I thought I was going to show you something interesting that was kind of make this system a little bit, what I'm trying to say, dangerous, not dangerous, risky to install if you're not a mechanic or don't understand engines, but that's changed drastically in the last hour. So let me kind of describe what I'm talking about. So in a previous video on how marine ignition systems work, I described the Delco EST Ignition system and how you set timing with the set timing harness. You have a little loop of wire, and you put 12 volts on the harness, and it makes the module go into what's called set timing mode. I'll put a link to that video in the description so you can go watch that video, and so you can understand the rest of this video. So don't continue with this video until after you go watch that video. Okay, now that you're back, let's continue what I was talking about. So you have a set timing harness, and when you put the in this particular engine, when you take this red wire and put it on that purple wire, and then you close this loop back here on these two wires here, it puts this engine in what's called set timing mode. And then you can set the timing with a timing light by shining timing light down on the harmonic balancer, and as I described in part 5, and that's how you set the timing. So back to the video I mentioned a while ago. In that video, if you notice, I kept saying that there's a different part number for the 4-cylinder module, the 3-liter 4-cylinder module, the 4.3-liter V6 module, and the 5.0, 5.7 V8 module. At the time, I assumed there were 3 different part numbers. So why did I assume that? Because there's a different timing curve for each of the different size engines. The 3-liter uses a different timing curve. And I'll show these timing curves both in a link in the description and also at the end of this video. There's 3 different timing curves stored in that module. So my thinking was, okay, this module doesn't have switches on it to say it's a 4-cylinder or a 6-cylinder or 8-cylinder application. There's nothing on the module that you would switch to make it go to know what size engine it's on. So, and also it turns out it's just one part number. There's not 3 separate part numbers, it's one part number. And also I'll put the part number in the description. So I was wondering, how does the module know that it's running a 4-cylinder versus a 6-cylinder or an 8-cylinder? And I thought what it did was it knew that when the module doesn't know what the RPM is. It gets pulses. So for example, a V6 will send out, it's 600 RPM, it will send out 3 pulses per revolution. Remember, it's a 4-stroke, so it only sends out 3 pulses per revolution, not 6. So 600 times 3 pulses per revolution would be 1,800 pulses per minute. All right, so if you do the math, you can get it down to pulses per second. And then if you take the inverse of that, you can get seconds per pulse. So the module would know at 600 RPM, it would get so many pulses per second. And it would know that that's a 6-cylinder, and if it was a V8 run at 600 RPM, it would be 2,400 pulses per minute. Again, you can do the math to get it down to seconds per pulse, and so you'd have a longer pulse or longer time between pulses on a V8 than you would versus I don't know if wait a minute, it might be shorter, but it doesn't matter. The bottom line is I thought that the module was selecting the timing curve based on the number of pulses it got at 600 RPM. Because the instructions for timing these type engines, all of them are timed at 600 RPM, according to the instruction manual. So again, I thought the module was figuring out which size engine was based on the number of pulses. So I did an experiment with this engine. I cranked it up as a V6, and the timing's already set to 1 degree before top dead center, just like it shows on that label right there. And I then used a screwdriver and turned that screw right there. That's your idle speed screw right there. I turned that screw to run this engine on up to approximately 800 RPM. The problem is the tachometer on this boat is broken, so I didn't know, but I just ran it up to where I assumed was close to 800 RPM. And that may have been a failure in my process right there, because I didn't know the true RPM, but it doesn't matter. So I don't think it matters. So anyway, I revved it up to about 800 RPM. Then I shut it down. And then once I shut it down, I started it back up, and it was running at approximately 800 RPM. I started up at fast idle, then I slowed it down to 800 RPM. And then I disconnected this set timing connector at 800 RPM, so that I was thinking the module would think this was now a V8. And then when I pull that set timing connector, if I were to look at the timing marks, it should show the V8 timing curve. Well, let me back up. It's going to still show 1 degree before top to center because it's in set timing mode, and that's not going to change because this loop is what sets the timing. That loop is just passes the timing signal through, so the module is not doing anything to the timing. But I assumed that once I reconnected disconnected the 12 volts from the set timing process, that the module would revert to a V8 timing curve because it was it was set at 800 RPM, which is simulating 600 RPM on a V8. Well, it didn't change. The module, the timing stayed at the V6 timing, so it did not have any effect on it. So that blew my theory out of the water. So my theory of that the module uses the idle speed when it's set, whatever the idle speed is at the time that you connect this up and make the set timing go into effect, I assumed that was how the module selected the timing curve, but that's not the case. So that's an interesting development. So my best guess now, I don't know, but my best guess is that the module knows based on something to do with the signal from the distributor. If you remember back in the days of points, you had something called dwell angle, and I think for a V8 it was like 30 degrees. That sounds familiar. When I was a teenager, I used to adjust points in a distributor using a dwell meter, and I think I remember setting it for 30 degree dwell, but I don't have my dwell meter anymore, so I can't tell what that is. But the bottom line is that the signal is going to be different from the distributor depending on how many poles there are in the distributor. So for example, a V6 distributor has 6 poles, a V8 distributor has 8 poles, and a 4-cylinder has 4 poles. So that variable reluctance signal inside that distributor is going to be different depending on how many poles are in the distributor. In other words, maybe the shape of the sine, the sensor in the distributor generates a sine wave, which is that's what the module gets. So the module must be seeing a different slope to the sine wave, as it's between peaks or something. Something in the signal is what's telling that module what size engine it is. And that's good news because it doesn't rely, the great news about that is that it doesn't rely on the mechanic who's setting the timing to set the RPM at the right level so that it chooses the right timing curve. For example, this is a 4.3 liter V6. You set the timing at 1 degree before top dead center, and it adds, as you'll see in the chart at the end of this video, it adds 17 degrees. Once the module is back in charge or back in control of the timing, the module adds 17 degrees to that 1 degree before top dead center for a total of 18 degrees. And this is at idle now. 18 degrees of idle timing at 600 RPM. The module doesn't know what you set the distributor to. It just adds timing to whatever you've set the base timing at. So 18 degrees is a lot of timing. However, let's say you accidentally set the timing on, you mistakenly set the timing to 10 degrees. I think the V8 curve says 10 degrees before top dead center or something like that. So if you were to mistakenly set the timing on this V6 to 10 degrees before top dead center, and it used the V6 17 degrees, you would then have 27 total degrees of timing at idle. And then it would add, I don't know, 5 or 6 more degrees underway. So you would end up with over 30, 33, 34 degrees of timing total. And I'm pretty certain that this engine normally runs between 23, 24 degrees total timing at wide open throttle at full 4,800 RPM, 4,400 RPM, whatever it is. If you look at the chart at the end of this video. So if it's using the V8 initial setting of 10 degrees, and adds 17 or let's say it adds 20 or 23 timing, you're at 33 degrees, and that's at least 10 or 9 degrees more timing. You're probably going to damage this motor. You're going to cause detonation and destroy the motor. So I'm glad to find out that it's not up to the person setting the timing as to which timing curve this module chooses. It chooses it, in my opinion, based on the signal from the distributor. Something about the dwell, or there's some characteristic about the signal coming from the distributor, is what helps this module choose what engine it's running. It's basically running, and that's good news because it doesn't rely on the tuner. And it's also pretty cool. That's the elephant in the room. I never talked about in any of the series of this installing this Delco EST distributor. I never discussed the timing curves. It's automatic. Once you put the distributor in, you set the timing using the set timing tool to the number that you're supposed to set it to. For a V6, it's 1 degree before top dead center. I think for the 3 liter, it's -2 or -1 after, or minus means after 1 degree after top dead center. And then for the V8, I think 10 degrees sticks in my mind, but it doesn't matter. The module will choose the timing curve for the engine that it's installed in, so that it's not up to the mechanic or the tuner or the person, the owner of the boat who's setting the timing to choose the module. I mean, excuse me, choose the curve. So it's automatic, and that's good news. So it's almost makes it idiot proof, to be honest with you. So that's what I wanted to talk about in part 6. And by the way, if you mentioned in part 5, I mentioned something about the I had 1 inch between the notch, the timing notch, and the timing mark on the harmonic balancer. Well, what I was trying to say is at 18 degrees, if the harmonic balancer diameter is 6.75 inches. The total distance around that harmonic balancer is 21.2 inches. So if you take 18 divided by 306 degrees times 21.2, it comes out to almost exactly 1 inch. So you would have 1 inch of distance from the timing notch, the top dead center timing notch, and the timing mark on this harmonic balancer while it's running at idle at 18 degrees. So I was trying to point out that that's what this Mercruiser is setting for. 10 degrees, I think I did the calculations, and on a V8 you should see about 0.6, I'm going to say 0.6 inches. I think it's like 0.58 or 0.59. So about 0.6 inches. So it's about the width of my thumbnail. So it's definitely not 1 inch. You can definitely see the difference between the V6 and the V8 initial timing if you know how to do the math. So and then the 3 liter, I don't know what it is. I don't remember, but I'm going to verify that I've got the right timing with the 3 liter. In other words, the base timing you set with the timing light, you know what that is. But then when the module takes over, you need to double check and make sure that the module is using the right timing curve. And you can do that by estimating the distance. If you know your diameter of your harmonic balancer, and you know that, say the timing's supposed to be, again, 10 degrees, then you can calculate 10 divided by 360 times the distance, the circumference of your harmonic balancer, and you can figure out how far the timing mark should be from top dead center. And you need to make sure that distance matches. Wait for the ear smashing stereo there. So you need to make sure that distance matches the timing curve that you're supposed to be running. And if you need more instruction on that, or need a better explanation of that, leave comments on this video and I'll do another video explaining that in a bit more detail. But just wanted to point out that the timing systems on this Delco EST is automatic, and that's good news. And I thought this video would be different, but it's actually better than I expected. So if I find out something different, I will post a retraction or a correction or whatever. But I'm pretty sure that the module has there's a signal somewhere in there making this module automatically choose the timing curve for the particular motor that you're running. So again, if you have any questions about what I've tried to explain, leave them in the comments, and I'll do another video to go into greater detail and do the math and explain what I'm talking about. So this wraps up the series on the Thunderbolt ignition upgrade, and hope you enjoyed it and hope it was of value to you. And if it was, please subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers before the midsummer. This is 2021, and it would be great if I get to 1,000 subscribers by midsummer. Again, thanks for watching, and have a good night.